Hello and welcome to Bounding into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the editor-in-chief at Bounding into Comics, and I am joined by my co-host, Drew, the Supreme Heretic, Taylor. And we are here on Trek Tuesday to talk about Star Trek Deep Space Nine's Move Along Home. I think it's like episode 9, I believe, on Netflix, and it might be episode 10 outside of that, because if you remember correctly, the first two.
This is 10.
Yeah, it's 10 outside of Netflix because the first 2 episodes are combined. If you're watching on Netflix, it's episode 9. So basically, the gist of this story is we get a first contact with a species called the Wadi, and it ends up happening where they are big gamblers, or at least they like to play games. So they immediately want to go to Quarks, and they have a string of successes. It looks like Quark is losing lots of gold. What is it? Gold-laced platinum?
Gold pressed platinum. That is
gold pressed. Yes. Okay. Yes, gold pressed platinum. And then Quark decides to rig the game and has them lose a couple times. And they decide to punish Quark by introducing their own game. I'm not really sure I don't remember the name of what it's called. But basically,
it was called Chula or something.
Chula, like yeah, that's right. I got it written down.
Chula, yeah.
Yeah, it's called Chula, and basically what it does is it takes Sisko, Kira, Dax, and Bashir and places them inside the game, and they have to work through a number of puzzles based off of Quark's roll of these like 3 dice.
Yeah, this is basically to the viewers out there. It's like every gamer's worst nightmare when you're like somebody that's a gamer and enjoy playing like action titles and FPSs, and you get thrust into a horribly terrible puzzle game.
I like puzzle games. I see them as like BioShock. They're like the mini games in BioShock where you have to solve the puzzles to like hack the machines or whatever and stuff like that. So initial reactions. What were your initial reactions to this episode, Drew?
I don't know. I really thought this was another one, and among the fandom, like this episode is considered one of the weaker ones in the greater scheme of Deep Space Nine. You know, this was definitely one of the weaker ones in season 1. I didn't mind the first contact aspect. I thought that was cool that they were, already 10 episodes in, we're meeting another one of the new like Gamma Quadrant races. But yeah, it's it was just kind of weak to me. I didn't really like it because it's just very. They spend a lot of time in these like puzzle scenarios, and there's if you watch Star Trek, we've had these kind of episodes Next Gen. We've had these in I think there's one in Voyager, I believe. I don't know. There's like you can kind of count on, if it's Star Trek, you get one of these episodes every once in a while where people get thrust into some strange place and it's a puzzle to get out.
Yeah, so I'll give you my opinion. I thought it was boring. Noel from the TARDIS Zone, he describes it. A lot of people found Deep Space Nine boring. I pretty much agree with that. I was kind of bored through this episode. I didn't think the puzzles were all that challenging. I thought the first one with the hopscotch was somewhat interesting, where they had to like discover it. The one with the drink was just absolute like garbage, because the guy like shows up and tells like Sisko to drink. He's like, drink. This is how I'll save you, basically. And then they all just like start there choking, and like Sisko had told them to like don't drink anything. It could be poison, which is kind of odd. I guess that's like something to see. But yeah, I found the puzzles weren't that all challenging. There was also I thought there was like there was some like story issues with it too. So like when they get to the third puzzle, I guess, where they're trying to just like they're trying to platform, because like platformers are horrible, and they're trying to platform.
You're right. That was your worst part.
Yeah, they're trying to platform around this like hole, and but before that they were supposed to like sacrifice one, and they were going to pre-program into a computer to sacrifice one. Well, they didn't actually sacrifice anyone. Dax just got injured. She wasn't like sacrificed. And what ended up happening is they all fell into the hole, and they weren't able to platform. But yeah, so I thought it was boring. I didn't think it was like, it didn't challenge me mentally at all. There weren't any kind of philosophical questions. There weren't any like large themes that they were discussing.
No, like
I guess greed maybe with Quark,
yeah,
and him like learning a lesson, but that's about it.
Well, there was like that one silly part of it where what was the one thing when they were going through the maze? They get to that room that has like all the wadi sitting in it, like sitting at tables drinking,
where they start getting poisoned by the smoke or whatever.
And then Kira gets mad because nobody's paying attention to the officers as they walk in, and she like throws that tray on the floor. Yeah. And then the doors close, and that gas comes in, and Bashir's looking around. He knows that the wadi, the gas isn't affecting the wadi, and so he sort of grabs a drink and see if that works, and he finds out that the drink really counters that gas that came in there. So he gets the others to drink, and then the wadi just cheer because they figured it out. It's like,
well, right, but if you remember, Fallow like shows up, he like appears out of the clouds, and then he's like, drink, and he has like that's what he tells him. He's like, go along home, and then he like tells Sisko, drink, like he gives it away.
Yeah.
And then like Bashir like drinks it off. Yeah, I just thought that was just, I don't know, there wasn't anything challenging about that. That was just we're dying, so let's just, he even says, I just grabbed it and drank it. He didn't like use it. There was like no like reasoning or deduction, or just like pure luck. Where at least the hopscotch one, they actually had to like follow the pattern and then say the rhyme and stuff like that.
But I mean, these were silly if they were like actually thinking puzzles, because there's like an episode of Next Gen that's similar to this, and the name of the episode escapes me, but Picard and some people get trapped and they have to go through these like tests, puzzles.
Yeah, I think that would have been more interesting if the puzzles if there was a little bit more thought on the puzzles, or like they're a little bit more challenging. And then at the end they reveal like, oh, there was no real risk anyways to any of them. And then I think at one point Bashir just like gets taken off because of the dice roll. And I think just them not explaining the rules was kind of just a cop out too. It's like, oh, you learn as you go, and they could just like make up whatever the dice was. So it just like it seemed like lazy to me. They didn't want to actually like create a game to set up the rules where they would actually like, we would know what the risks were, where it was just like, oh, like you rolled bad here, like that's very bad, now we take one of your pieces away, and like they don't explain why, or like you just have to like accept that.
It's very goofy.
I think that's an issue too, though, that you don't know what the rules of the game are. And you still don't by the end. It's just like whatever the writers wanted it to be is what it was. But Barry on says this, his first initial reaction is, it might be the worst episode in Deep Space Nine, and to be fair, it wasn't that bad. It could have been recycled from old school Doctor Who, Lost in Space, or Space 1999, though.
No, I mean, listen, Barry, you got a good point, and I understand that. It's just, I don't know. I found a lot of holes in this episode, and the thing is too, through all of this, as you're going along, you would figure you would be learning more about the Wadi as a species, and you don't really
Right.
get satisfied about learning anything about the Wadi as a species. Really,
They like games. They don't like being cheated, and they like to basically mess with you through their games. Like
yeah.
that's pretty much all I learned about them.
I mean, so what is like the conclusion? What, the Wadi are a troll species? I mean, what is
I mean, that's kind of what it was.
They're
Yeah.
like trolls.
And then like Cisco's like about to berate them, and I think rightfully so.
Yeah.
At the end, he should have berated them. Like these people were literally took away their agency, like basically entrapped them, made them puppets of this game without their consent. And then Odo was like, "Well, you need to really blame Quark." Well, yeah, Quark did something wrong, but the Wadi also like they kidnapped them. That's what they did. They kidnapped them. And put them in this game, and there was no real consequences for them too. And that's something that we've criticized Deep Space Nine for so far, is that we don't get to see a lot of consequences with certain actions. Like last episode was a perfect example. The what was her name? She like executes in the passenger. Vanta Ka gets executed.
Right.
And they don't, and like
They
just like, whoa.
Yeah, I know.
The episode ends. And it's
Surprise,
like, okay,
it's over. But the thing is, the one thing that was funny though, the very end of the episode, like as the Wadi are leaving, Quark's like running, like, wait, I can market. He wanted to market their game.
Well, he also wanted to get away from getting like yelled at by Cisco too, so he's like trying to avoid. And I don't know. I just felt that was a little weak writing too. I think it was boring. I think there was a lot of weakness in the writing. It was lazy almost. I just wasn't impressed, considering we've seen some actually really good episodes this season already. I just felt this one was a little bit of a letdown, or a lot of a letdown, I would argue. What was your favorite part about this episode, Drew?
I don't know. I kind of like when Odo first jumped into action to try to start investigating and stuff. Like it seemed like it was trying to have Odo be more assertive and more of kind of a hero, which was cool. But there was a couple of cool lines in here too, like
I'm not in Starfleet.
Yeah, exactly.
I was policy to press a few buttons. Thumbs down. That was my favorite part.
Yeah. Odo says, "Well, I'm not in Starfleet." I mean, that's great. And then like we always love Quark here on this show, and when the Wadi are arriving at Quark's, and he's like, "Oh, do they have money?"
Yeah. I thought the beginning, so my favorite part obviously was my dog is going crazy right now. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Well, I can't really do anything about it. I can't even see him. It's not my dog. It's my sister-in-law's dog. But my dog has a much deeper bark.
Hey, Spencer.
But my favorite part was that part with Odo. But I also thought the beginning of the episode started off really strong, like you were saying, with Quark and introducing himself to the Wadi, being a being who we expect Quark to be.
Typical Ferengi.
He's trying to get them into the games, make some money off them. He's unimpressed by their he's like, sticks? I don't have any need for sticks. And then what do they show? Some drink, and he's like, ugh. I thought that was great acting, the way he reacted to the drink. He's like, he should have spit it out almost, but you saw that he wanted to spit it out, but he didn't. And then he finally saw the gems, and you could see his eyes light up, and I thought that was really cool. And I also like the parenting aspect in the opening sequence with Cisco and his son, whose name escapes me right now. Jake. Yes, Jake. Thank you.
Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I thought Jake was just a fantastic 14-year-old kid. I would actually argue he probably could have been even more obstinate towards his dad as a 14-year-old, be a little bit more rebellious. But I like that. And Cisco was like, I need to have a parenting session. I did think it was kind of odd that he like, I guess that he's like a commander. He would have to like set time in his schedule to like
Right?
have a
Yeah.
meeting to like talk about women with his
Yeah.
son.
Um,
And then Jake with Odo, where he tells him like, oh, we Nog and I were gonna go see the Bajoran passengers. And then Odo's like, oh, you want to check out the Bajoran girls, huh? And Jake was like, no, no, not at all. And like that sheepish grin. And I thought
yeah.
that was pretty fun acting. So I
No,
enjoyed
yeah.
that.
Sirach Lofton, the guy that played Jake, he did a good job, and he did a good job throughout the whole series as Jake's character progressed. I thought is really good. Really quick. Let's say hi to some of the chatters that
Yeah.
came in, Spencer and Parrot Head,
Send it to the lower decks. I don't know if it's
Skullman.
that one, Spencer.
Um, so Skullman asks, bounding into comics, will you do Trek Tuesdays on TOS and TNG? Right now, the plan is we are going to finish Deep Space Nine, and then I believe, we're looking at, where to go after that. Maybe we'll go to Voyager.
We've got a
Or
lot of Deep Space Nine to get to.
yeah,
So
maybe we'll go to Voyager. Maybe we'll just go to TNG and go backwards. So I don't know. The future's kind of open with Trek Tuesday, so we're kind of still figuring it out. Skullman, we were just comfortable starting with Deep Space Nine, especially because Donald and John both haven't seen it. They're catching it for the first time.
yeah, we're Trek
And,
newbies.
and we're on this journey with them. So yeah, we wanted to start out with something really compelling first, and Deep Space Nine seemed to be the ticket, and of course it will be, because you guys in this chat that know Trek, how good it gets after the first couple seasons. So, it'll be fun. So for the foreseeable future, you will see pretty much Deep Space Nine content here as we go through the seasons. But yeah, so that's yeah.
We also got Parrot Head here. He's cracking jokes.
Of course he is.
Drew's size joke.
Yeah, he always does. Parrot Head. Parrot Head's a great supporter around the community, not only around the different streams around the fandom, but he's always in here supporting Bounding into Comics when we do this stream and Bounding Live. So appreciate you, Parrot Head. Thank you for being a longtime supporter.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that. Skullman also says you should have started with the original series. Deep Space Nine is a weird start.
Well, we're unpredictable.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think Jorge he wasn't able to be with us today, but Jorge has a lot of high praise for Deep Space Nine, and I think that's just kind of where we wanted to start with, because he was
and
kind
so
of
do I, because this is my favorite Trek series of all of them. Including TOS. So, I mean, we all kind of settled on this, but it's good.
All right, let's get back to the show. So, we talked about what our favorite parts were. What was your? I do want to. One thing I did like. I actually thought the Wadi ship design was kind of cool.
The Wadi ship was cool, dude.
Yeah, we saw it like twice, when it docks and when it comes in, and it was I thought it was like a really cool, sleek, very stylish design. I would not mind riding around in that ship around the Gamma Quadrant. It was a cool ship design. So I just wanted to.
I like really kind of ships that have like more tighter lines that are more sleek, and yeah, that was a cool ship design to me as well.
All right, so what was your least favorite part about this episode?
Probably just again, I can't get away from the cheesy puzzles.
Yeah.
They were really cheesy to me, dude. And it's like the situations just even when they were quote unquote in peril, it didn't hit right. And yeah, I thought the puzzles were cheesy. I wish it would have been they would have been better.
Yeah, I agree with you. The puzzles were definitely a huge weak point. They weren't challenging. They were cheesy. There's better there's better puzzles in BioShock.
Yeah.
There's better I don't know. I feel like there's just, even when the show was coming out, they could have been inspired by some better puzzles for them to solve, or put them in, or even put them in some kind of like moral dilemma situations or something like that. Which I guess they kind of tried to do with like leaving Dax, but that wasn't really a moral dilemma. They weren't going to leave her. But maybe they could have done something like that too, where they could have like got that those philosophical discussions started in part of the game or something like that.
Well, there's also the thing too, from the standpoint of character development in this episode. This is more of a standalone, and the character development there wasn't like that.
There was none.
Kind of trademark character development that we've seen so far, where even if it's a standalone episode, there's usually something that pushes along the characters. And really, the only small type of character development you get is a little bit with Odo and some with Jake and Nog, and that's it. Because they're just introducing Nog. Yeah, they're introducing Nog for the first time. So
no, we saw Nog. We've seen Nog before.
Yeah, but I mean, not a lot. Yeah.
Right. He's usually getting Jake into trouble.
Yeah.
So they tried to do some character development with Quark, but at the end they just brought him back to where he was, where he's just kind of like not trying to admit that he was the one like cheating the Wadi.
Of course.
The whole like him begging scene was very like it. It didn't have the pay. I know what they were trying to do with it. Like, I think that was probably my worst part, was Quark begging to not have to choose anyone. And then it didn't matter anyways, because they had the computer do it, and the computer didn't pick one anyways. So I just felt like that there was no payoff for that.
Right.
And then at the end, it didn't matter anyways. And that again goes back to the fact that they don't tell you what the rules are. And it was like, are the Wadi trying to teach Quark a lesson? And then if they were, he doesn't get the lesson anyways, because he's chasing after them to try and like license the game. At the end, I don't know. I didn't buy what they tried to do with Quark there, because we've seen him before have some character growth where he actually does care about the officers when he's the one who is like basically saving them during the virus outbreak, whatever.
Right.
And he's the one like operating the transporter, I think, and then cracking jokes while he's doing it.
Yeah, the chief. Yeah.
And then obviously he's still trying to like make as much money as he can, and he's willing to break the rules to do it, which he does here. But then, like, I don't know, it just seems out of character for him to just start like begging like that, especially when it didn't really seem like his life was on the line. I guess it was trying to show that he does care about them, but then like literally right after he refuses to do that, doesn't he say like he picks the shorter route, and he like tells Odo like, trust me, I know what I'm doing. Or no, that's right after he loses. Sorry, that's before he begs, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He picks the shorter route, and then he begs, but he had already lost Bashir by that point. So I don't know. He had already lost someone. So, and he didn't have that like emotional reaction when he lost Bashir. So, but he doesn't even know who he lost.
There's that too.
And he's not even sure. He's not even sure that those are like. There's the assumption that they're like part of this game, but he doesn't know like what's happened to them or how they're being treated or anything like that either. So it just seemed like a real like overreaction to me, and I don't know, it didn't really buy from what we've seen of Quark before. I just didn't really, I don't know, I didn't really buy it. The past 2 episodes, I feel like Quark's characterization has been off, because then he was hiring the mercenaries to literally like attack Deep Space Nine. That didn't make sense either.
Yeah, it really
previously seen. He doesn't want Deep Space Nine to be like attacked or destroyed because that's where he makes all his money. But anyways, so I think that was my like. Obviously, I'm a huge Quark fan, so when they like, I think when they miss it on him, that kind of really stands out to me, and I felt like that they didn't do a very good job with him. Parrothead saying Quark never really evolves over the series. Well, I think he's already evolved quite a bit, especially the disease episode. I thought he evolved quite a bit on that, where he's the one who's like helping out and he's willing to help out.
Yeah,
obviously he still has his base nature and he's going to revert to that, but he can like overcome it when there is time. So you don't have to like have a fundamentally change of character in order to grow, I don't think.
Well, and I think that we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see like even more growth because the next episode we're gonna get into is a little more about Ferengi culture, and you're gonna meet the Grand Nagus. So that'll be cool too. So you'll get a lot more explanation on what makes the Ferengi tick in their culture.
Yeah. So Parrothead saying the disease episode, he was saving his best. He was saving all of his customers because they were all dying.
Right. Yeah, Parrothead. Exactly.
Yeah, he was. I will give you that as well. But so one of the if he also Parrothead also says if you pay attention to the actors, you can tell they're not thrilled about having to do this episode. Yeah, I really got that from Major Kira, the actress who plays Major Kira. Definitely.
Nana Visitor.
What's her name?
Nana Visitor.
Yes. Yes. She seemed just super uninterested, and then when she like threw the tray down, it just seemed like she was just overacting on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
Like she was like taking her frustrations out.
It was like, bam.
She's like, "Why don't we like this is trash? Like, I don't want to be here." Even Cisco's acting was a little over the top, especially like when they were doing the platforming at the end through the cave or whatever.
Well, I was talking to Ensign Ricky last night, and he and I were BSing because I had stopped on Jedi Bill stream, and we were just BSing about Deep Space Nine for a minute. And he said, "Oh, you guys are doing Move Along Home, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh boy." He said, "Yeah, that's one of the universally panned episodes by the Deep Space Nine fandom," and I had to agree with him.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably the worst. So let's get into it. Let's rate this episode. I'll say it's the worst episode so far. So given my scale, 5 is average. And
look, see, he appears, John.
It's in Ricky here. 8 is outstanding. 10 is perfect. So 4 is like below average. 3 is like subpar. 2 is bad, and 1 is like just absolute should never have been made. Abysmal. I probably say this was a 3.
3, I agree.
So far,
I agree with you.
Comparing it to the other episodes that we've seen in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Subpar. It wasn't. I don't think it was below. It was subpar.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been vastly improved. I think the biggest criticism we've had is the puzzle games. If they made those puzzle games interesting and intriguing, or at least a little bit more of a challenge, I think that could have this could have been really good show. Like the bones of it are there. They just needed a little bit more imagination, I think, to really.
Yeah, I think it would have made. I think it would have made the episode pop a lot more. Like, you know, if there was actual real peril, like, you know, employ like Script Doctor talks about this a lot. Like, employ a ticking clock. You know, if you don't if you don't solve this puzzle in just the right way, you know, the section of the station blows up, or you know, have some real stakes. You know, have some real peril to it, and this is
well, they tried to make it seem like there was real peril to it until you got to the end. Like you didn't know that that they weren't going to be like they would die or whatever.
Well, I mean,
it's hard to have real peril in an episodic series, and your main characters are the ones playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, still though, if you're gonna have it, even if it's like faux peril, at least like have it so you know those stakes are projected in their minds or something, and they have to get it just so, or you know, or to them, you know, the section of the station is going to blow up or something like that. You know, there's just so many things they could have done better and got this sort of theme across, and I don't feel like they did enough. And again, for the character development, it was lackluster for this episode. So like you know, it's for that reason. On a whole, I give it a 3. I agree with you.
Yeah. Ensign Ricky is saying this was one of Armin Shimmerman's favorite episodes. Armin Shimmerman
who played Quark.
Favorite episodes because he got to expand Quark and the Ferengi much more. This was one of Quark's first moral dilemmas. Did he have a moral dilemma? I don't know. I mean, he gets down and begs, and then he just gets out of it anyways. He doesn't have to actually make a decision. The Wadi Fallow just goes in and is like, we'll program it, and then they don't do that decision anyways. She just gets injured, and then they continue on. There's no sacrificing one to save two.
Yeah, I could see.
So that doesn't even happen. And then at the end, he tries to just avoid telling Sisko the truth. Odo tells Sisko the truth, and then Quark just walks out and is like he's back to his old ways. I don't know. I don't see there being a lot of growth on Quark's part as a character. Yeah, he has that emotional breakdown, but I don't know. He avoids that. He avoids any consequences of it.
I can see Ensign Ricky's point, except for me, I think there was a little bit of moral dilemma for him, but not so much. If you're talking about the sort of him learning a lesson by the end of the episode, yeah, I could see that, but I don't think
I don't think he did. I don't think he learned a lesson at all. I mean, he was trying to get the game in his or whatever.
I don't think Quark really and truly was, you know, you didn't have the attachment that like season 7 Quark had to this crew that, you know, season 1 Quark is going to have to this crew yet. You know, he's not going to be they haven't yet opened up those friendships as much. So yeah, I don't know that he had a moral dilemma from the standpoint of his friends were in danger because, you know, at this point Quark's more about himself. You know, so
I think there should have been something where like he gets shut down. He's like heavily fined. Something that like Sisko should have done to like punish him. And then when Sisko's doing it, you could have even had the Wadi come in and say something and like weigh in. Maybe they're like, no, like this is not. We do not want to do this, or like we won't trade with you, or something, or like have something like that too, because they like the games, and that's why they're there. Because they seem to like are upset that Quark is cheating them, but then they go and do the same thing with their own game where they actually kidnap people. So
right.
It's hard to know what we don't learn anything about the Wadi or what their intentions were or like why they even decided to do that or like what was even going on. Like they're just kind of there.
Yeah, Ricky says this is the first time he really got to act out on Quark, but this was the actor's redemption for TNG's last outpost. Yeah,
Yeah, I get like he did get to act in that emotional scene where he's like begging. Yeah, I see that where he gets to do that begging scene. I see that as like him getting to do something different as an actor, but I don't see it as the way that the way he that begging the way the show ends. The begging scene is there's no consequences to it. So there's no actual like character growth. Yes, he begs, but it's just it's almost like he's using it to get out of responsibility, which he does. He doesn't have to take any responsibility by the end of the episode.
But Ricky, to the point, coming up next episode, it's like I was saying, we're going to get a much closer look anyway at Quark and Ferengi culture and things of that nature, because the next episode's dealing with the Grand Nagus. So, you're going to find out a lot of Ferengi stuff the next episode. It's going to be very heavily Ferengi. So yeah, this might have been like throwing the ice in the glass before you pour the soda in or whatever with the next episode. But yeah, I can see your point. And Ensign Ricky says, Chula!
That is the game. All right, so as Drew mentioned, the next episode is called, I just had it up, hold on. It's called The Nagus, and we'll be discussing that next Tuesday. Hopefully, we'll be able to get Don on here as well as Jorge. Otherwise, we might bring in Ensign Ricky again to join us to talk about The Nagus if he's available at 3, if he's up for it. Love to have him. We will be doing Bounding Live tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we will have our special guest, Noel from the TARDIS Zone. We're excited for him to join us next this Wednesday. And then on Friday, Spencer and I will be back for Anime Rewind. We had to delay last Friday. I'm having some construction happening here at the house I'm at. They're tearing up the driveway, so there was a jackhammer going on Friday, and I didn't think you guys would have enjoyed listening to a jackhammer and me trying to talk over it while we're reviewing Mobile Fighter G Gundam. So we'll be back on Friday. We usually start that between 4 and 4:30.
And yes, chat. I actually, when we were talking about it before this episode, and John was talking about the jackhammer stuff, I totally sent him a GIF of Goldberg.
Oh, yes, you did.
Master of the jackhammer. Real quick, John Willis asks, I wonder if John and Drew could play any of the characters in DS9, who that would be. So you want to answer that before we leave?
I don't know. I'm not an actor. I don't have any. I probably play Quark. I mean,
all right, fair enough. I would say for me, my pick would very likely be General Martok, because I am very much a fan of the Klingons, and I really thought that he became one of my favorite characters. But we'll have to wait down the road till we actually get to General Martok on here. But
yeah, I'd probably say O'Brien would be number 2. John Willis. That's what I was thinking after I said Quark. He'd be number 2.
Oh wow, John Willis picking him.
Yeah.
So I wonder. All right, John Willis. So who would you pick for me? Parrothead.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being Quark. Ensign Ricky says Garrick is probably the best character in Trek. We've only seen him in one episode so far, so
yeah,
I can't confirm that yet. Well, high expectations though. High expectations.
Yes.
Oh, John Willis says Grand Nagus or Quark for you, Drew.
Oh yeah. Is this a joke about my height, guys? Because I'm gonna come for you one of these times. All right. But thank you guys for watching. This has been a great Trek Tuesday. Again, we don't have the total crew in the house, so it's a little bit of a shortened episode. But next week we'll have probably more folks in here, and we'll have a little bit lengthier discussion because
we'll have more opinions.
Yeah, because also this episode really there wasn't all that much to it as far as reviewing the episode. So
initial reaction was boring. I'm still standing by that. So we also have on Sundays, Drew and Spencer have been playing Dead by Daylight over on our Twitch channel. We usually start, I think, around 11 p.m. Eastern. I think that's kind of the time we're looking at. And I also, it's coming in the mail. I got an email yesterday that it has been shipped. So hopefully I will be able to join them as well for a little bit on those Sunday streams.
This Sunday we will be going live 11 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully it'll be the three of us. It'll be myself, John, and Spencer. And later on, when Jorge gets some internet things cleared up and whatnot, we could get Jorge in and we can have a full Survivor squad for Dead by Daylight, which will be fun having the four of us on there, and hilarity should ensue.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get hooked and die a lot. We'll see. All right. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. And again, back here next week for the Nagus on Trek Tuesdays, where we start at 3 p.m. Eastern. Have a good one, guys.
Take care, folks.